Hello everyone, myself Dr. Jyoti Gangude. So I'm going to teach you the subject that is Entomology 1, paper that is ZOUT 231, the chapter that is Digestive System of Insect and the topic that is Alimentary Canal. So first we discuss the parts of digestive system of insect. So the digestive system of insect which is represented by a tube, the alimentary canal or gut of variable diameter and length which extends from mouth to anus. So it is supplemented by a pair of labial or salivary glands in many insect, gastric caeches in some insect, and Malpighian tubules. So the Malpighian tubules, they are exclusively the excretory organs in almost all insect. Some parasitic hymenopteran larvae seem to be exceptional, in which the alimentary canal is mostly a simple tube or completely degenerated, as the nutrients they get absorbed directly through the general body surface. So here you can see in the diagram also, here this is the mouth, here these are the paired salivary glands, they lie at thoracic region. Here you can see the esophagus, then this is the midgut and this is the hindgut, and see here these are the Malpighian tubules. They are functions as the excretory organs in or almost all insect. And here you can see this is the hindgut, here rectum and the opening of rectum, which is nothing but the anus. So the alimentary canal is a short in length in case of primitive insect such as Pterygota, Ephemeroptera, Odonata, Dermaptera, Phasmida, and the larvae of butterflies, larvae of moths, bees, wasps, and mosquitoes. Whereas such a alimentary canal which is enormously elongated in some insects, particularly in Homoptera and Cyclorapha. Cyclorapha particularly, which belongs to order Diptera, that is in case of flies. Again the alimentary canal which is often longer in the phytophagous insect. Phytophagous means those insects they are feeding on the plant juices. So such a alimentary canal which is often longer in phytophagous insects than the carnivorous insect. Carnivorous insect particularly, suppose we are taking example that is beetle and others. So it cannot be strictly applied as a general rule for all groups of insect. So here what is my intention? The alimentary canal which is variable in length and variable in diameter depending on the insect order and depending on their families and again depending on their feeding habitat. So come to the structure of alimentary canal. So the alimentary canal is typically divided into three main regions: foregut, midgut, and hindgut. The foregut and hindgut are the ectodermal structures, or they derive from the ectoderm at the embryonic condition. Now, whereas the midgut is endodermal in origin. So the foregut and hindgut are ectodermal invaginations and therefore they are called as stomodium and proctodium respectively. Whereas the midgut on the other hand, which represents the middle ectodermal sac or which connects the two, that is anterior foregut and the posterior hindgut, so it is called as mesenteron. Now we focused on the foregut. Before that you focused in this diagram. So here you can see this is the foregut, here it is the midgut, and here it is the hindgut. And here you can see the mesenteron, which is mesodermal in origin, whereas stomodium and proctodium, these are the ectodermal derivatives. So the foregut, which starts with the true oral cavity or mouth, and it is differentiated into various parts such as pharynx, esophagus, crop, and gizzard, or gizzard, which is also called as proventriculus. So all these structures, they differ in morphology as well as they also differ in their function. So we can see one by one all these parts. So the pharynx here, the pharynx, which is provided with a pair of dilator muscle. So the pharynx forcibly pushes the food material into the esophagus, and in sucking insect it get modified into sucking pump. That I already told you, depending on the mode of feeding, the alimentary canal which get modified. Suppose in case of those insects where they feeding on the solid food material, the pharynx perform a different function, whereas in case of sucking insect, or particularly in case of bugs, in case of mosquitoes, hematophagous, phytophagous insect, in those such a pharynx which get modified into the sucking pump. Now pharynx followed by the next part of the alimentary canal or the next part of the foregut, that is esophagus. So the esophagus, which simply serves as a passage for food material, and therefore it is a seat of food conduction, means it can pass the food material which is coming from pharynx towards the crop. So after the esophagus, the next part of the foregut, that is crop. So again here the crop have the peculiarities. Such a crop which is ill-defined. Ill-defined means it is less developed, or in case of Pterygota, it is absent. So the crop which is ill-defined in case of Pterygota, in case of Paleoptera, or in case of some parasitic insect. Whereas such a crop which is well developed in Dictyoptera and Orthoptera. Suppose Orthoptera, the common example, that is grasshopper. So suppose in case of this grasshopper, such a crop which is well developed, dilated sac-like structure. Again, such a crop which is completely separated as a lateral diverticulum, which opens into the esophagus by a small duct in some blood-sucking dipteran flies and Lepidoptera. So again, there is variation in the anatomical pattern of the crop. In case of Pterygota, in case of Paleoptera, parasitic insect, whereas which is again different in Dictyoptera and Orthoptera, and in case of Lepidoptera and sucking dipteran flies, again the crop which is different. But the main function of crop in all insects, that is, it functions as a food reservoir. So which stores the food material. So reservoir of food material. Again the crop which is followed by the next part, that is proventriculus. So the proventriculus, or again we called it as a gizzard. So you know the well known example, that is cockroach, where the gizzard is present, proventriculus is present. So here the proventriculus is greatly developed in Orthoptera, in Dictyoptera, in Coleoptera, that is beetles. So Orthoptera, that is grasshoppers, and Dictyoptera, that is cockroaches. So in those, such a crop which is well developed and used for, that is, feeding on the solid food material. So the inner cuticular layer of the gizzard, which is differentiated into various processes like protuberances, denticles or teeth-like processes, and such a processes, denticles, protuberances or such a teeth-like processes, they arranged usually in either in the form of rows or either in the form of plates. So here the teeth, they are arranged into 6 longitudinal folds in case of Acridiidae, and here the 6 plates again in the form of Blattioideae. So each plate is broken up into a series of transverse ridges or overlapping teeth. In case of Tettigonidae, in case of Grylidae, or in case of Grylotalpidae. So in those insects, such a proventriculus which shows the overlapping teeth. In case of the dragonfly nymph, there are paired dorsal ventral plates, each bearing a group of teeth, while in case of meloid beetle, such a teeth, they are spiral, such a teeth, they are pointed, or they are variably developed. Now, in case of the fluid sucking insect, such a processes, they are totally lacking except the region of cardiac wall. So this is what about the proventriculus, or the what we say is that the gizzard. The main function of such a proventriculus or gizzard in case of the solid feeders, that is they masticate the food material by using such a plate like processes such as denticles or such a protuberances. Now beside the diversity in the structure and function, the different regions of foregut, they resemble each other in their basic histology. So here we focused on the basic histological plan of foregut. So here histologically the foregut which shows 6 layer wise. So the first layer, which is the innermost layer or the innermost cuticle lining, or which is called as intima, followed by the next layer, that is epithelial layer, and the third layer, that is basement membrane. After that, such as cells, they are surrounding by longitudinal muscle, followed by circular muscle, and the outermost layer, that is the peritoneum. So this is what the basic histological plan of foregut. So you can see in this diagram also, here you can see, here this is the intima, cuticular intima, here you can see these are the epithelial cells surrounding, that is the circular muscle or the longitudinal muscle. Now in case of the midgut, where the gizzard opens into the midgut through the cardiac wall, or it is also called as proventricular or stomodial wall. So in insect, 2 walls are present in between, that is the foregut and midgut. This is the first wall, and such a wall, it is called as the cardiac wall. It is also called as a proventricular wall or also called as a stomodial wall. And the another wall which is present in between the end of midgut and the anterior region of the hindgut. So you have to remember these 2 walls. So we are focusing on first, that is cardiac wall or stomodial wall. So here such a walls, in case of insect, they prevent the excess food entry of food material into the midgut. So main function of this wall. So here the midgut occurs as a short straight tube in the primitive insect and caterpillars, whereas such a midgut, it is greatly coiled and enormously again long in case of higher insect, because midgut is the site where all the absorption of food material nutriments takes place. So depending on the nature of food, the again midgut which get modified. Here again such a midgut which is pyriform or fusiform sag-like structure in case of mosquito, or again even such a midgut which is form that is two chambers, anterior cardiac and posterior ventriculus, in some cycloraphan insect. Again there is variation in the midgut in case of the Hemiptera, where it shows the ventriculus, that is ventriculus. The midgut particularly divides into four regions, that is ventriculus first, ventriculus second, ventriculus third and fourth. Means what? Depending on the nature of food material, either it is solid or either it is liquid state. So the midgut which get modified. So in some insects like the coccids, the larvae of Apocriton Hymenoptera, some Neuroptera and some viviparous Diptera, here the midgut is closed sag and is completely separated from the hindgut, in which all the nutrients are directly discharged into the hemosole through the walls of midgut. So it bears large number of gastric cicae through its length in case of the beetles. So these are some examples where such a midgut which shows modification or which get modified. Now again we are going to focus on the basic histological plan of the midgut. So it is reverse to that of the foregut. So histologically the midgut which constitute 5 layers. The first layer, that is the innermost columnar epithelial layer. You can also see in the diagram also. Okay. So these are the diagrams of midgut. So here you can see the innermost columnar epithelial layer followed by a basement membrane. Such as cells, they are resting on the basement membrane. Such a basement membrane which is surrounding the third layer, that is circular muscle layer, followed by the longitudinal muscle layer, and again such a musculature which get covered by the outermost covering or the membrane, that is peritoneal membrane. So this is what the basic histological plan of midgut. You can see in these diagrams also. Here these are the membranes, these are the epithelial cells. Here you can see the innermost layer, outermost layer, and here you can see the longitudinal muscle. Inside you can see the circular muscles are there. Here this is the food bolus is there. Okay. So this is what about the histological plan. Here this is about the foregut and here about the midgut. So again the internal cuticle lining which is absent and the arrangement of musculature, it is reverse than that of the foregut. That I already discussed the basic histological plan of foregut and midgut. So it is reverse. The epithelial cells, again in case of midgut, the epithelial cells, they are of 4 types. The columnar secretory cells of same or different size. So 2 types of cells are there. Same size of cells, they are called as homonymous cells, and the different size of cells, they are called as heteronymous cells. So those cells having inside a brush border. Here you can see this is the brush border, or it is also called as a striated border. Then the regenerative cells are there. Okay, the regenerative cells are there. Here you can see in the form of crypts. And the goblet cells, they are also present, and they serving the function that is producing a secretion, and the endocrine cells, they secreting the peptide hormone. So these are the various type of cells, they are present in the midgut and perform different function. So here we can discuss the type of cells of midgut in the next lecture. Before that, all of you know the comparative anatomy of digestive system or the alimentary canal in different group of insect. So here you can see diagram A. This is the alimentary canal of the dragonfly larva, whereas the B diagram, which is the alimentary canal of cockroach. So here you can differentiate in between all these diagrams. Not all the parts are same. Even foregut, midgut and hindgut, they are different because depending on their nature of food material. Here you can see the C diagram. This is the alimentary canal of red cotton bug, whereas the D diagram, which is the alimentary canal of Lepidopteran larvae, either of butterfly or moth. Then the E diagram, which is of beetle, which is a solid feeder, and the F diagram, that is housefly. Here you can see the housefly, which is feeding on the semi-solid food material. So depending on the nature of food material, the anatomy of the alimentary canal which get differ. So up to this we are discussing all, that is the digestive system, alimentary canal, different parts of alimentary canal, and remaining part, that is the cells of midgut or remaining part hindgut, that we will discuss in next lecture. Okay, thank you so much.